Am I the idiot for canceling my daughter's 16th birthday party? I, 48F, share 2 children, Pam, 15F, and Liam, 13M, with my ex-husband Marco, 50M. I share a daughter, Annie, 9F, with my current husband Bruce, 46M. Marco and Bruce are night and day different. Marco works in construction, plays softball on the weekends, and coaches my daughter's soccer team. Bruce teaches at a university, plays the piano, likes going to the theater, and is an amazing baker and cook. It's not uncommon that we will go to one of Pam's soccer games, and then afterwards, the whole team comes back to the house to enjoy cookies or cupcakes made by Bruce. At the end of the season, we do a big dinner for the team and their parents that Bruce cooks.
Bruce and I have been married for 11 years, and every year for the kids' birthdays, he makes the most incredible cakes.
Whatever they like that year, he does. We've had Pokemon, Doc McStuffins, Paw Patrol, among others. February is Pam's 16th birthday. Her sweet 16. Bruce has been planning this gorgeous cake that encompasses all of Pam's interests and different stages of her life. The other day another mom sent me a link to a TikTok that Pam and several of her teammates did. It uses audio from an episode of Family Guy. It's a video of Bruce taking a cake out of the oven with chocolate cake, a la Blake, playing in the background, followed by a cut to my daughter and her teammates with Pam holding up her hand and mouthing along to $100, Blake is gay, out of the side of her mouth. When I confronted Pam, she said it was just a joke. I told her that it wasn't funny. Bruce saw her and treated her like his daughter, and it was disrespectful to both of us. She told me that I was overreacting. I told her that if she didn't take it down, and apologize to Bruce, I'd tell him not to make her a birthday cake. She rolled her eyes and said that she'd take it down. Shortly after, I was walking by her room and heard her on the phone. It was muffled, but I heard her talk about me being dramatic over my F-word husband. I ordered her to hang up the phone. She hung up and said she was just blowing off steam. I called her a spoiled, ungrateful brat, and how dare she use that word. She started crying and said she didn't mean it. I told her that her birthday party is cancelled, there will be no sweet 16, and that I was going to tell Bruce to stop baking for the team and that we would never do a team dinner again. I am still so angry. Marco told me that I need to let it go, that I'm expecting too much from a teenager, and that he would have a party for her if I didn't. Bruce was hurt when he found out but thinks that we should still let her have her party. My sister tells me not to doubt myself and I made the right call, but I wonder if I'm acting with too much hot blood. The top replies, not the idiot. Homophobic slurs are not funny. Homophobic stereotyping is not cute. Shaming the guy who makes her birthday cakes and feeds her team, for baking and cooking, is really nasty and inappropriate. It's reasonable that if your daughter doesn't value Bruce's efforts, and thinks his contributions are somehow shameful, that she should not receive them. The second reply, you need to sit down with your daughter. Without anger. Rationally take her through the history of LGBTQ people. With a few examples of their murders through recent history. Give her some time to process. Ask her if she wants to perpetuate this violence through her words and actions. Start connecting with and bringing gay folks onto your sphere so she learns they are simply people who want to live their lives. If she is willing to listen and reflect and starts to show real remorse, then start up the plans for a birthday party and other privileges and treats. The third reply. I wholeheartedly agree with the sentiment, because if Pam and her team are making fun of Bruce now, it's not a stretch to think they'll turn their sights on an LGBTQ+ people at school and use slurs against them. And it's an excellent idea to have her learn about the history. However, LGBTQ+ people shouldn't be used as tools in Pam's education. This is similar to when kids show racist tendencies and people say, oh, just bring some BIPOC over so they can learn. As a minority, hell no. I don't want to be your guinea pig in fixing racism in your family and open myself up to their abuse. To me, doing this with gay people is no different, and it's not fair to expose them to a girl who feels so comfortable using gay slurs, she puts it online for the world to see. Pam needs to learn for sure, but at this point in her development, let's keep gay people out of it. It's an unfair burden to an already marginalized group. But, I agree with everything else you said because education is the antidote to ignorance. Edit. The F word I am referring to is a slur for gay men. Edit 2. Forgot a word above, so I edited. Also, to clarify, I did not punish her for the TikTok video, as much as it irritated me. I told her to take it down and apologize to Bruce or there would be no birthday cake. She agreed to take it down. The punishment came when I heard her refer to Bruce as my faggot husband. I did not raise her to be a homophobe, to use that word, or to disrespect anyone in her life. Especially someone who has loved her and doted on her from the moment he came into her life. Update. I've been asked for an update on this situation. Most of you agreed that I was not the idiot, but many pointed out that the punishment did not fit the offense and was just meant to hurt. After thinking it over, I agree. I decided to sit Pam down and ask her why she had made the video. She kept saying she didn't know and crying. I explained how this could ruin her future, the bullying that people who are LGBTQ+ face and the consequences of said bullying, and how terrible it is that she would do this to someone who has treated her very well for as long as he's known her. Pam said that several members of the soccer team had used the F slur to refer to Bruce after they saw how he was always baking and cooking for fun. She didn't like it but felt if she didn't agree, then she would be ostracized. She agreed to delete the video and apologized to Bruce for her actions. He accepted her apology. Many people suggested that I make Pam and her friends cook for the next team dinner. Soccer season is over, so there are no team dinners until next year. However, Annie's gymnastic class had their family dinner/holiday party on the 16th, which happened to be the same night as the holiday dance at the high school. I contacted the parents of the girls who appeared in the video. A few asked to see the video, and all were deeply embarrassed and ashamed. I told them that we were willing to delete the video and would not refer it to the school as long as the girls apologized to Bruce, helped to prepare the food for the gymnastics dinner, and gave up the dance to volunteer at the party and serve meals. Every parent I spoke with was very grateful and agreed it was a fair consequence of their actions. So every day after school from Monday to Thursday the girls came over and worked in our kitchen, cutting up vegetables, boiling pasta, breading chicken, layering lasagna, making buttercream, mixing up cake batter, rolling out cookie dough, cutting cookies, washing dishes, and just about anything else we could find for them. At the end of Thursday, I asked the girls what part of what they did this week was gay. None of them had an answer. All of them approached Bruce at some point and apologized for being a part of the video. At the end of the party on Friday, two of the girls asked Bruce if he could teach them how to prepare a few of the meals he made for team dinners in the past, and he agreed. I realized not every girl who made fun of Bruce may have been in the video, but a very clear message was sent. We have decided to still hold the Sweet 16. After sitting down with Marco, he explained he'd never heard anything said by the team before, didn't realize it was a team-wide issue, apologized for not having my back, and agreed that it was a fair punishment. He also promised if he heard any slurs from anyone, it would be the end of their time on the team. The top replies. Wow, this is a great update. Seems like all the parents got on board to show silly teenagers that their words hurt. Teenagers do lots of dumb stuff because they are dumb and testing all the boundaries in life. Having all the adults on board to basically band together and explain how this language is hurtful and that is not okay is the absolute best result. These type of conversations along with working with the person they were being hurtful to will go a long way into making them empathetic adults who understand why you don't do things rather than a simple punishment. Good parenting. Second reply. This is the only part that bothered me. All of it was gay. And so is going to school, and being on a sports team, and making TikToks. The issue at hand is that they're perpetuating stereotypes and mocking them. Gay people and straight people have a massive variety of varied interests, and those interests don't define one's sexuality. And one's sexuality doesn't define them as a person. I applaud this family's actions in disciplining what was done, but I feel like the core message slightly missed the mark. Third reply. We have always raised our children to respect others and recognize that there is nothing wrong with being gay. My sister is a lesbian and is married to a woman. To the kids they're Aunt Sue and Auntie Jess. When I spoke with Pam, I told her, there is one criterion for whether or not someone is gay, and it has nothing to do with sports, baking, friends, hobbies, or job. I repeated this to the girls when no one could give me an answer as to what part of what they had done was gay. Pam knows this. When I explained how disappointed I was in her and that we raised her better, she kept crying and repeating, "I know, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I did it. I think this gave them all an opportunity to be better." Second story. Am I the idiot for calling my brother's GF a gold digger after she Googled the cost of our Christmas gifts? My brother James has a girlfriend, Lindsay, who he's been dating for 7 months. He decided to bring her to Christmas at my house, stay over Christmas Eve and leave the next day after lunch. I'd met Lindsay at drinks before this and she seemed nice. When they arrived, Lindsay walked in and complimented my decorations, large tree in the foyer, and asked how much they cost. I was a bit surprised by the question, but I just said, "More than I'd like," and moved on. Throughout the evening she asked several questions centered around money. She asked my husband how much he paid for our house, my stepdad how much money he made in his previous job, how much my watch cost. She even Googled one of our art pieces to see how much it sold for and started talking about how crazy it was that we spent that much, which frankly was very uncomfortable. My stepdad pulled my brother aside and asked if there was a problem, but my brother just said it was normal for her to do that, but he did say he'd speak to her about it. On Christmas morning we all gathered round to open presents and thankfully, Lindsay didn't say anything untoward, so I figured James had spoken to her about her intrusive questions. However, at lunch, we were talking about plans for January and Lindsay loudly said she didn't know how we could afford to do anything in January as she added up the total we'd spent on gifts, and then proudly proclaimed the total amount. The whole table went silent, and honestly I was equal parts shocked and annoyed that someone could be so ignorant. I looked at Lindsay and said, "You are the world's most diligent gold digger. Seriously, would you like to be the family accountant since you're already tracking expenses?" Lindsay stuttered out an apology and tried to explain, but my stepdad just changed the conversation and we moved on. She was mercifully quiet for the rest of dinner. After they left, my brother messaged me saying I'd really upset Lindsay and was out of line with what I said. I argued that he had said he'd talk to her and he clearly didn't, not that someone should have needed guidance to know how crass her comments were. He is saying I owe both of them an apology, but I think Lindsay's behavior was disgraceful. My parents say Lindsay was wrong, but I probably should have said something in private or they could have, and I shouldn't have said something in front of everyone. Am I the idiot? The top replies. I just don't understand why everyone here is making excuses for her, semantics of the terminology or not. Why would you sit there and add up the total of what a family spent and then tell them about it? They know. Whether you grew up with money or not, common sense is required, unless she's on the spectrum. But come on, people here always get defensive when someone posts here and is from a wealthier background, constantly making excuses. If this was reversed, would you guys be okay with it? If she Googled how much a pair of socks or how much an old TV was and passed comment. If she went on about how little the family spent, and then declared at Xmas morning, "Oh, you guys should have loads of money in January since you spent so little during Christmas." Would you all be making the same comments? I doubt it. You'd be up in arms and calling her a snob. The second reply. Even if she is on the spectrum, that is no excuse to be excessively rude and make a family's Christmas awkward and uncomfortable. People think that mental issues are a blanket excuse for any type of shitty behavior, and that's just not how the real world works. Third reply. Not the idiot, and I really don't get the "you are the idiot." It is so unbelievably rude to make so many comments about money. I could see maybe one or two off-handed comments, but to fixate on money so much that you tally up how much money was spent on Christmas presents and then announce it to the whole family? Don't apologize to your brother. Why should you? His girlfriend came into your house for Christmas and immediately started questioning you about money and practically appraising everything in your house. She should be apologizing to you, and your brother should be apologizing on her behalf. If someone is rude to you, you're allowed to defend yourself and shut them down, which is what you did. Maybe next time she'll learn to keep her mouth shut and not constantly talk about money.